What is up, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of Anthony KT Wrestling. Welcome, everyone. This is the final episode in 2024 for Anthony KT Wrestling, and I just wanted to take this last episode, and I really wanted to focus, as you can tell by the shirt that I'm wearing, that I really want to take this time and really focus on Monday Night Raw, the last episode of Monday Night Raw, and the importance of the last episode of Monday Night Raw on USA Network, and the importance of the first of Raw moving to Netflix. But first, before I dive in on Raw, I just want to take this time and say that the era of SmackDown being 2 hours is officially over. We watched and sat back for the final 2 hours of SmackDown on USA Network for the last time. Moving forward, as of January 3rd, we enter into this new era of SmackDown, where SmackDown is now a 3-hour show. And I am excited for this extra hour that has been given is good for, as I've said many times, for the men and women in the locker room on the roster, especially as they're shaking things up in the locker rooms of both NXT, Raw, and SmackDown, where people will end up when we get to that episode on January 3rd for that first episode of SmackDown on USA Network, 3 hours. What it looks like is very exciting, and I'm looking forward to it. Matches that were already announced for SmackDown, with more. And at first, I think for a lot of us, I think it's gonna feel a little weird to have this extra hour of SmackDown. For a lot of us who get to that 10 o'clock 10 p.m. right where we feel, okay, SmackDown was good. Now let's see what else is on. And then it goes 10:01 and SmackDown is still on. We're gonna be like, wait a second. It's a little weird. It's a little new, but this is not like a bad thing. This is a great thing. And I'm very excited for the future of SmackDown in this 3-hour era moving forward. And I feel like for people who will be watching SmackDown, especially with SmackDown out of the United States and other certain countries where SmackDown, it will be watched for them on Netflix, which is a big deal. I feel like that Raw, as I feel like a lot of people are not officially confirming it, but have this feeling and know this feeling that Raw will go back to 3 hours. Absolutely, that's where I feel it's gonna go. So as far as SmackDown being 3 hours, I'm excited. January 3rd. Let's do it. Let's go. Let's look forward to it. So the importance of Raw on USA Network goes back to 1993 when Raw made its debut on cable television. It was a very big deal back then. And to get to this point and watch as Raw has kind of moved around. It started on USA Network, and then it went from USA Network to TNN, which then eventually TNN became Spike TV. And then Raw moved back to USA Network, where it has stayed since then. And then over time, Raw went from 2 hours to 3 hours. And then just these past few months ago, went back to 2 hours just to kind of wind things down as Raw was making its move to Netflix. And now here we are, the final episode of Raw, and it's a big deal. And I say it's a big deal because Raw has always been on cable television since its inception, back in 1993. And when it comes to Raw, I always feel like Raw is the one that's always making those first big steps in the world of professional wrestling and sports and entertainment. This is that big step, because after December 30th, when when Raw fades to black for the last time on USA Network moving forward, if you want to watch Raw, you can only watch it on Netflix. This isn't, and for those who watch this know me, know that I do not like to compare between any other professional wrestling thing, but I'm just gonna make a comparison in this manner, where it's not like where it's AEW that's gonna be simultaneously streaming Dynamite and Collision while on Max, while it's also airing it on TNT and on TBS, depending on the show. It's nothing like that. This is history making. This is history making, not just for WWE, but for sports and entertainment altogether, because this is the biggest risk that's being taken by taking one of the longest episodic shows in television history in Monday Night Raw and making it exclusively on Netflix. And in doing that, you're also taking WWE outside of the United States and making it available for everyone outside the United States to watch not only Raw, but SmackDown and NXT all on Netflix. And this is something that I feel like in the future could be something that happens to the United States, here in the United States, after the Peacock deal is done in 2026, where it is possible that moving forward that PLEs will be exclusively on Netflix. Now, I can't say that for SmackDown or for NXT, because both of them are in multi-year television deals, USA Network and CW. But when it comes to the PLEs, which are already going to be streaming on Netflix for people outside of the United States on Netflix, I feel like this is something that can happen with Netflix here in the United States for PLEs, possibly after that contract deal with Peacock is done in 2026. Now, it also is possible that they keep that deal, but speculating wildly and letting our imaginations run wild is something we do here, not only here on Anthony KT Wrestling, but as pro wrestling fans, as sports and entertainment fans. It's what we do here. Some of the great things that will be great about having Raw on Netflix moving forward is that there's no delayed in time when Raw from the East Coast to the West Coast, or even across the pond, or in another country. Whatever time Raw comes on, wherever they are, whether they're here in the West Coast, whether they're in the East Coast, whether they're outside the country, across the pond in the UK, no matter what time Raw is airing live, wherever it is, it's when it airs live in the United States. So there are opportunities, especially with the Road to WrestleMania tour that WWE is going to be taking leading up to WrestleMania, where when they're doing a few episodes of Raw overseas, where for a lot of us here on the West Coast, Raw could be on in the afternoon, like at 2:00 in the afternoon, or for some people in the East, or for people in the East Coast who'll be watching Raw, they'll probably watch Raw at like 6 or 6 o'clock in the evening. So that is amazing. There is no more delayed time to when Raw comes on. There's no interruption in that. It's just whenever Raw airs live, if you happen to be home when it's on live, put on your Netflix, watch it live. It's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful. Now, the other beautiful thing about Raw is that you don't need to worry about the DVR anymore. When it comes to Raw, you do not need to worry about that DVR anymore. Moving forward, if you want, you can download if you miss Raw, it is immediately available to watch on Netflix. The second the live streaming is done of Raw, it is immediately available to watch. So even if you miss something, you can go back as soon as it's over, or even while it's on, you can go back and watch what you missed. And then like and if I read this correctly, about 48 hours after it originally streamed, you're able to download it and hold on to it. Past episodes of Monday Night Raw will also be available on Netflix, which is amazing. There are so yeah, those are just a few things to look forward to as it pertains to Raw being on Netflix. There's a lot of things that I talked about in past episodes of Anthony KT Wrestling. Go ahead and check them out if you haven't yet. But a lot of big things are going to be coming from this last episode of Monday Night Raw, and it's going to be, I know it's going to be a lot of setting up for what's going to be the debut episode of Raw on Netflix on January 6th. There's going to be a lot of build up to that. There's going to be a lot of hype for that, but there's going to be a lot of big things going on. I know they're going to throw everything at this final episode of Monday Night Raw, because it's not just the final episode of Raw for 2024. It is the last episode of Monday Night Raw on cable television on USA Network. And if you're going to go out, you're going to go out with a bang. And for Monday Night Raw, that is exactly what they're going to do. They're going to go out with a bang, and then they're going to enter into this new era on Netflix January 6th, and they're going to blow the roof off. So those are just a few things that I just wanted to talk about. So now moving forward, let's move on to Wrestling with Rumors. Now, like it is in the title, everything that you hear on Wrestling with Rumors is in this segment are all rumors. None of it is true. As we know, it doesn't happen until it happens. And as we know, in WWE and in just professional wrestling in general, anything is possible. Never say never. So let's get into it. So, the Wrestling Observer newsletter notes that WWE has talked about doing a pay-per-view show in Mexico City in 2025. Okay, wow. With the debut, we all know it's Penta, right? We all know it's Penta that is going to be debut, and it looks like it's definitely going to be on Raw. And I definitely have this great feeling it's going to happen at it's going to happen January 6th, Monday Night Raw. For them to do a show in Mexico City, this is continuing to take WWE to different international areas that they have never taken a PLE before. So to take a PLE to Mexico City is exciting, just like it was when they go to parts of the UK they don't usually go to, or when they go to Australia, or when they go to France, or when they go to Spain. You know, for them to add a PLE to Mexico City, I'm very curious to what the name of the PLE will be, but I'm just looking forward to that card. That's gonna be a hell of a card. So I hope this is true in 2025. I feel like it's true because they're only gonna keep going up, and to take WWE into different international areas to reach that audience that are craving for that, it's deserved, and I hope it's true. So here we go. So Snap said he hasn't been outright told that Kevin Owens re-signed with WWE, but believes that's safe to assume at this point. Even though it's a rumor, I also feel like it's a safe thing to assume that Kevin Owens has re-signed. He's in one hell of a storyline with Cody Rhodes right now, as it was announced on SmackDown that at the Royal Rumble, granted, we have to wait about a month for this pay-per-view, but we have to wait a month for this match. But at the Royal Rumble, February 1st, it will be Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens in a ladder match for the WWE Championship. And hanging above is not only the undisputed Universal WWE Championship, but it is also going to be the one eagled Gold championship hanging above too. So Cody Rhodes needs to grab both those championships to win. It's been a long time since we've seen that particular championship hanging from above. So yes, I'm looking forward to that match. And with this different version of Kevin Owens in this heel turn, I know I feel it in my bones that it is safe to assume that he is signed, but it's a rumor, so we'll have to wait and see. But I feel like it's safe. WrestleVotes note that Charlotte Flair's return is near, and she'll lean more into the Queen persona, but with a bit of a darker twist. Her presentation will apparently be different than before. Okay. I am very curious to what this darker side to Charlotte Flair will look like. I feel like I feel like that darker side will have a bit more of a mix of her father, of Ric Flair, but she's been out, she has been on television for a good hot minute. I feel like about a year or so since she's been on television. What that side looks like, I'm very curious. Now, this could happen at the day. We could see her debut Monday Night Raw on Netflix, or this is something where the countdown happens at the Royal Rumble and she shows up. Anything's possible in that one. So, according to WrestleVotes, the idea of booking John Cena versus Logan Paul at WrestleMania 41 has been met with resounding disapproval for several people in WWE creative. Those who are against the match feel that it shouldn't be Cena's final WrestleMania match. This is a rumor, and I really want it to be a rumor because I don't think any of us really want to see John Cena versus Logan Paul for John Cena's final match. John Cena's final match has to be top tier, has to be someone worthy of that match. I know a lot of people, when we think about final WrestleMania matches, when you think of Undertaker had a fantastic final match. And granted, it was a cinematic match against AJ Styles, but still, what a way to go out. What a way to go out. And granted, and that cinematic match was due because of the pandemic back in 2020, but that was a hell of a final match. That was a great final match. You think of Kurt Angle's final match against Baron Corbin. Not a lot of people were happy about that because a lot of people wanted Kurt Angle to win his final match, and he didn't win. Baron Corbin won that match, and a lot of people think that match was wasted, but that was Kurt Angle's decision. At the end of it, that was really Kurt Angle's choice, so we got to respect it. Who will be John Cena's final opponent? A lot of us, including me, do not want it to be Logan Paul. Nothing against Logan Paul, but I just feel like John Cena deserves a better opponent. And the clock starts January 6th for John Cena. And all the matches he will have. Who it will be against, I do not know. Right now, for me, at least for me, I'm focused. January 6th, debut of Raw, begins the John Cena 2025 Farewell Tour. That's where my focus lies on that. PW Insider mentions there has been some talk of doing NXT tapings next year in Nashville, as well as the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City. Over the last over the last week or two, with AEW doing a few of their shows in the ballroom, has been really cool to see. I think of NXT being in that ballroom, and it just takes me back to those episodes in the beginning of Monday Night Raw when they were in the ballroom. And I feel like some nostalgia in how NXT will do those shows in the Hammerstein Ballroom. It's running right through my head, and it feels the nostalgia for it, especially with Shawn Michaels running NXT. I feel it feels good. It feels good with the matches that could happen in there if that's possible. That'll do it for Wrestling with Rumors. Remember, everything that I just read to you are all rumors. None of them are true. But then again, any never say never in WWE and in professional wrestling in general. But that will do it for Wrestling with Rumors. And that will do it for this final episode of 2024 of Anthony KT Wrestling. I appreciate you all. I will be back I'll be back for another episode in the new year for Anthony KT Wrestling. But for now, I want y'all to take care of yourselves, and I'll see you on the other side. Peace, y'all.